the 200 who defied God, and the ones who stayed loyal. Most people have heard of fallen angels. Some even know the name Watchers, but almost no one talks about this. Not all the Watchers fell. The 200 who rebelled are infamous, but they were only a fraction of a greater group of angels assigned to watch over humanity. Scripture tells us that while some Watchers crossed the line, others remained faithful. This is not just an interesting detail. It is a major key to understanding Genesis 6, the book of Enoch, Jude, 2 Peter, and even Revelation. It also reveals how seriously God deals with rebellion and how deeply he honors loyalty. In this video, we will walk through what the Bible and the book of Enoch say about the Watchers, who they were, why only 200 fell, where they are now, and why their judgment matters for the end times. Let us begin by asking the question, who were the Watchers? Meet the Watchers. The term Watchers comes directly from the book of Enoch and the book of Daniel. In Daniel chapter 4, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. In that dream, a Watcher, a holy one, comes down from heaven and announces divine judgment. The term used in Hebrew is Iron, a supernatural being who observes, decrees, and carries out divine orders. The book of Enoch expands on this role. According to 1 Enoch chapter 6, the Watchers were angels assigned to observe and guard humanity. But some of them rebelled, and in doing so, they crossed a line that even Satan had not crossed. The sin of the 200. In Genesis 6, 1 through 4, we read, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose. There were giants in the earth in those days, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them." The phrase sons of God refers to Bena Elohim, a term used in Job to describe heavenly beings, not humans. These were angels, and according to Enoch, 200 of them descended to Mount Hermon in the days of Jared, and made a pact to do what they knew was forbidden: take human women and produce offspring. These offspring were not normal. They were Nephilim hybrids, giants, beings of unnatural origin who brought violence, corruption, and evil upon the earth. The leader of this rebellion, Shemihazah, but one of the most notorious, was Azazel, who is credited in Enoch with teaching mankind forbidden knowledge: war, enchantments, weaponry, seduction, and more. This corruption spread rapidly, and the world became filled with bloodshed and demonic influence. This was not merely rebellion. This was a genetic corruption of humanity itself. The Watchers did not just disobey, they violated boundaries of creation. Immediate judgment. Unlike Satan and the 1/3 of angels who fell with him, the 200 Watchers were judged and restrained immediately. Why? Because their sin was of a different category, one of irreversible corruption. In Jude 1:6 we read, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day." And in 2 Peter 2:4, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment." The word for hell here is Tartarus, a term from Greek that refers to the deepest pit, below even Hades. According to 1 Enoch 10, God sent the archangels to bind the Watchers. Shemihazah and his followers were bound in the valleys of the earth. Azazel was bound in darkness in a pit in the desert. Their punishment would last 70 generations until the day of judgment. This means the 200 Watchers are not roaming free. They were locked up early, cut off from human interaction, because what they did could not be allowed to happen again. The loyal Watchers. And here is the part almost no one talks about. Not all the Watchers fell. Only 200 are described in Enoch as making the pact on Mount Hermon. That implies there were other Watchers, other heavenly beings with similar assignments, who remained loyal to God. This makes sense when we compare it to the structure seen in Scripture. Not all angels fell with Lucifer. In fact, Revelation 12 says 1/3 were swept down, meaning 2/3 remained faithful. The same pattern holds here. Enoch's narrative focuses on the 200 who rebelled, but that does not mean they were the only ones ever called Watchers. There were likely many others who continued to serve God's purposes. This aligns with Daniel 4, where the Watcher in Nebuchadnezzar's dream is called a Holy One. This is not a fallen angel, This is a divine messenger bringing God's judgment. That means the Watcher title is not inherently evil. It is a role, not a rebellion. So while the fallen 200 brought chaos and judgment, others remained faithful. These loyal Watchers continued their assignments, unseen, but fully obedient to the Most High. Where are they now? So where are the 200 fallen Watchers now? Scripture and Enoch are clear. They are imprisoned. Jude says they are in chains under darkness. Peter says they are in Tartarus, awaiting judgment. Enoch says they are bound for 70 generations and will be released only at the end. Some believe their release may be referenced in Revelation 9, when the abyss is opened and beings come out like smoke and locusts. Whether this is symbolic or literal, it certainly aligns with Enoch's timeline. Restrained beings who are suddenly released in the final days. If a biblical generation is 70 to 100 years, and the days of Jared were over 4,000 years ago, we are not far from the completion of those 70 generations. This raises a sobering possibility. Could the imprisoned Watchers return in our lifetime? The Nephilim were destroyed in the flood, but the spirits of their offspring became the unclean spirits we call demons. The Watchers themselves, however, were locked away until a time of future judgment. That time may be approaching. Why this matters? So, why does this matter for us today? First, it reveals that not all fallen angels are the same. Some roam freely, others are bound, some rebelled in heaven, others defiled the earth. If we lump them all together, we miss the details that help us interpret prophecy and spiritual warfare clearly. Second, it reminds us how seriously God takes rebellion, especially rebellion that corrupts His design. The Watchers did not just sin, they brought violence, occult knowledge, and genetic distortion, and for that, they were judged immediately. Third, it reveals that some angels remained loyal, even when others fell. This is a picture of what God desires in His people, faithfulness in the midst of deception. When spiritual darkness rises, loyalty matters more than ever. Fourth, it prepares us for the last days. The Watchers were bound, but they are not gone. If their release is connected to Revelation 9, then their return could usher in the darkest deception the world has ever seen. We must be spiritually prepared. And finally, it reminds us that not all supernatural knowledge is divine. The Watchers taught mankind enchantments, astrology, sorcery, and war. In the modern world, many of the same deceptions are being revived, often presented as light or wisdom, but the source has not changed. Conclusion. The story of the Watchers is more than ancient history. It is a warning and a call to faithfulness. Only 200 fell. The rest remained loyal. That same division is happening again, not in heaven, but on earth. Some will follow the spirit of rebellion. Others will remain loyal to Christ, no matter the cost. Jesus said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man." In Noah's day, the Watchers had corrupted the earth. Judgment followed, and Jesus said it would happen again. The good news is this: God has always preserved a remnant. Not every angel fell, not every believer will be deceived, and you do not have to fall with the world. So let this truth stir you. Let it awaken discernment. Let it strengthen your commitment to stand firm when others fall, because the Watchers who remained loyal and the saints who endured to the end will stand before the throne of God blameless. Not all the Watchers fell. Will you? If this video helped you see the Watchers and the end times in a new light, consider subscribing so you do not miss the rest of this series. We are diving deep into what the Bible and the Book of Enoch really say, separating truth from speculation. Share this with someone who has questions about angels, demons, or what is really going on behind the scenes. And drop a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts or questions. Together, we can keep pursuing truth, even when it gets uncomfortable. In our next video, we explore a mysterious figure, a man turned angel named Metatron. Is it Enoch? Is it myth? Or is it a hidden piece of a much bigger story? Until then, continue to stay grounded in the Word, stay filled with the Spirit, and do not let the silence of heaven fool you. Justice is coming, and the King is watching.